ดีครับ
ขอบคุณมากครับ
ด้วยความยินดีครับได้มาเยี่ยมเลย
As Pita Limjaroenrat prepares to take over the reins, his Move Forward party has come under attack by critics for its foreign policy that is alleged to pave the way for U.S. interference in Thailand's domestic affairs. Are these critics just being paranoid, or is the United States really waiting to poke its nose into Thailand's business?
I think that it's important for Thai people in general to look at evidence. Everything has to be evidence-based, and the ability to do critical thinking. You know, nowadays when you read the news, especially with all the activities in the social media and all that, misleading information can come out very easily. So if you look at the accusation against the U.S. interference in the internal affairs of Thailand or not, we have to make some distinctions. I have seen no evidence that the executive branch of the U.S. government, which is actually the government maintaining foreign policy around the world, there's no evidence that the U.S. government wants to interfere or has interfered at all. Now, one may refer to the Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
So you have the Senate as well as the Congress, the House. They had been resolutions before the elections that urged Thailand to do certain things, to be fair, and some other elements that we all have heard about. We must understand that U.S. congressmen and senators have a tendency to do that. They have their issues around the world, actually. So we have to look at the specifics. And one thing that is important to emphasize is that the resolutions coming from the Senate or from the House in the U.S. Congress have no legal binding on the government. There's no binding for the government of the U.S. to act on. So it's not legally binding.
Move Forward leader Pita has promised a new chapter for Thai foreign policy direction, which will revolve around the so-called 3 Rs: revive, rebalanced, and recalibrate. But how this will play out for Thailand, especially in dealing with the two superpowers being caught in the escalating geopolitical rivalry?
I think we have already practiced the 3 Rs. In fact, when I was foreign minister, we covered all the 3 Rs in practice. We need to not be under the umbrella of any major powers. In the olden days, we used to be part of CETO, and of course we were under one umbrella. But now we have to make sure that we have good relations with all countries that we have relations with. And of course, major countries, China, we should have our own good relations with China. The U.S. understands that, and we have to have good relations with the U.S. China, I'm sure, understands that. So a balanced approach to protect our national interests, I think it's a continuation. So we are just seeing the continuation of the 3 Rs maybe with the incoming administration.
Have we been too close to China as many people see? I mean, because according to one of the advisors of Kun Pita, who works on the foreign policy direction, he said in the past, I mean, because of the coup d'etat we had many years back, Thailand was somehow pushed, into the arms of China, and now with the 3 Rs direction, they want things to be moved back to this center. So that means that in the past, Thailand must have been seen as being too close to China. Is that what how we are seen in Washington, D.C. as well?
In some circles,
Yeah.
yes, in some circles, because after the coup d'etat, and we had some experience with that, right? We, the U.S., in contrast to China, the U.S. Brought up the position against coup d'etats and had to do certain things, a degree of sanctions, making it more difficult for the Thai government under the leadership of the military to be as close to the U.S. So there was a tendency for Thailand to go a bit closer to China, because China has a policy of not mentioning anything that happens domestically anywhere else. So it did not criticize what happened in Thailand. So there was probably an increased degree of activities, but I would not say that Thailand was going to jump into the Chinese camp.